Recording in progress.
Yeah, all right, I'd like to welcome everybody to not necessarily a special, but an off-day meeting of the Needham Park and Rec Commission for Wednesday, October 26th. We are here in one of the conference rooms here at the Rosemary Recreation Complex due to some other programming that we have going on tonight. So bring the meeting to order. We'll start off with the open forum of public comment. I don't see anybody else here in the conference room, but if there is someone live.
I do want to say that if you are attending live and you have a question, please put in the question and answer, and we will answer the question live, or I will text you or email you through the Zoom.
Okay. Nothing coming up.
No questions so far.
All right, the second action item that we have is I am very excited to introduce our new park ranger. You don't know how excited everybody at this table and other facets of the Needham are excited to have him in this position. I mean, when we heard that you were interviewing as one of the candidates, we heard it was, a great interview. To get recommendations from people, I think it's a great fit, and I think this is something that the Park and Rec Commission has been looking for a while, and we're very excited of what you can bring to the whole department and also helping out other facets of Needham government. So welcome.
So glad to have it.
And you are just over a week in the position? Did you work what, Tuesday to
Saturday.
Tuesday, Saturday? Okay,
Yeah, 12 to 8.
wonderful. I know it's a short notice, but how's it been going so far?
This is good. Stick around, and then right now is know each park, what's going on and what happened there. Just like check, it's like safe or not safe.
Yes.
If some I see like a fan or like have something in the ground, I report to Ed. They can send someone to fix it. Keep the communicating is safe and for the kids. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful.
No, I think it's great. I mean, I know we're going to the end of the fall season here, but it's good things that we can kind of look forward to what we're going on in the spring. And just, again, or at least my perspective, I think we're all very excited to have you here. And thank you for joining.
Thank you.
How long have you worked for the town?
2 years.
2 years. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good, like know where and then it's not brand new.
Yeah.
But the position is new.
I know.
So
First ever.
yeah.
And I know you spent last week going around Ed and Kevin to some of the parks and checking out some things, so.
Yeah, what
Been
you
good.
pay attention, and then I reach out like Dan Lee in the high school.
Yeah.
Down here, and then the other is my master, like Mike.
Yeah, Mike Redskey.
Yeah, and then we have about like not every day, if it's something going on, we have the update.
Awesome.
Like that today's, because it's 2 days raining, so some fields have water in there. So we need to close, keep the kids safe.
Yes,
Keep
yes.
the field safe.
Like I just commented before, I checked the father that field, and I talked to a couple coach, I say, oh, it's stuck right now, and the kids still paying. I said, what time you will be done? And then he said, oh, we will be done soon, because I say it would be not safe. Because
Right.
some field is not.
Yeah, not lighted.
Right.
So
Yes.
I just took a notes for there, and they said, oh, very appreciated that.
Yes,
Yeah, we've
yes.
had some great feedback so far. I think the public and the residents are very happy to see you out and about. It's been great so far. So, yeah, so Woo's first point of contact whenever there's an issue is Ed. And then Ed either handles it through DPW and Parks and Forestry, or if it's under my purview, we'll send it over to me.
That's great.
Stacy, has been an announcement,
So there was an announcement through the News You Need, Cindy put in that, and the town has an internal Friday 5, so it's been through that, and actually the Needham channel is looking to interview us. Coming up, so we're gonna try to schedule that with Lou and myself and Ed. So people are pretty excited.
so they'll recognize.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna get him a nice sash and a hat.
Yeah, it's great.
Badge, I want to have a badge. Instead of it made of paper, I should have a badge.
We are actually working right now, he's wearing public works stuff, but right now we are working on getting some actual park ranger. Shirts and sweatshirts and things like that. And the fleet team is working on the vehicles for him right now. He's driving unit of 15.
Good old unit 15.
Yeah,
nice.
so,
A good one.
but eventually it'll be a pickup truck. They're just fixing up on the trucks for him right now.
Great. Well, that's great. Well, good
No, I
luck.
think this is
and,
fantastic.
Yeah,
welcome.
I think around and then I see a lot of people, they say, oh, it's weird neighborhoods, everybody is nice there.
Yeah. Oh, great.
So,
And then like, I see there like the tennis for that, and something fast or really. Like, so I say, give me the forward.
Yep.
If I see some, I say, that's done and done, they will be happy there.
Yes.
So-
Oh, yes, they will.
I think it's great.
And then the pickleball.
And they leave, right?
It is, that won't be enough.
Wonderful. All right, no, this is great. The only other suggestion I would make is if, when we do have our field summit, if who could be there just to introduce them to all the user groups, the reps, I think it'd be a great way to get them in front of that,
Absolutely.
besides his expose on the Needham channel. So,
So, yeah, we just wanted to bring him in so you guys can meet him officially, welcome him.
Appreciate that.
And,
Yeah, and me, and let me know.
definitely will.
Yeah.
We will see you out in the fields.
Oh, yeah. I order field.
Yeah.
Good, good.
Every day I need to check some needed to check.
Mhm.
Check.
Oh, this is great.
Even I see the kids, the sort of the like trust, I say, oh, taking the favor.
Yeah.
They say, oh, yeah. Oh, that's so
Excellent.
fun.
And it's your first half day with out on the field with the kids, huh?
Mhm.
Excellent.
They're well behaved. Yeah.
So you are welcome to stay for the whole meeting, or you can skedaddle. It's totally up to you.
If I can go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Night.
All right. That's fantastic. Like I said, honestly, we were waiting for this for a while. I think we got a good candidate.
Yes, yeah.
So, perfect then. All right, third item up on the agenda is the chair's update. Again, nothing really pressing. We'll probably go over, or, highlights that we have during the whole other agenda items. The only thing I will probably bring up is that we did have town meeting on Monday, almost into Tuesday morning, but just barely.
Five minutes.
Wow.
Yes, 5 minutes to 12. Nothing really in regards to Park and Rec. I know that we were mentioned in a few speeches in regards to the land acquisition, but we were not called upon to give our opinion or where we stand on it. I know that we sent out a memo earlier in the month saying that we fully support this. The land acquisition did end up going through, so it's, in the next planning or stages of where it needs to be. So it was good, ran a little bit later than we all thought, but it was definitely an exciting night. I know Cindy was there, and I know Fred, you were there also. Any other comments that you would want to make about town meeting?
No, I think everything was pretty smooth except for that article, which took up the bulk of the night, but.
Which article was that?
Article 11, which was the purchase of the property on Charles River Street and on the Charles River.
Mhm.
It needed 2/3 and it passed.
Oh, well over
160,
2/3, yeah.
143,
Oh,
So,
okay.
so probably an extra 30 votes to get it through, but there was a lot of the neighbors were there on Whitman Road. They
Oh.
were not in favor of it in general,
Mhm.
and they spoke. And the moderator obviously lets any city, as a citizen, you can speak. They weren't town meeting members.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They were.
I could watch it. But it was very interesting.
It was. Read anything, or it was good to be there?
It's always good to be there.
Perfect. then.
It's always good to be where you can understand where people are coming from,
Mhm.
and there's a
Yeah.
lot to understand.
Yeah, to listen to
Kind of
their
opinion, yeah.
concerns, right?
Well, that's helpful too, when there's a legitimate concern, I think that's helpful, and I thought, with the land acquisition, I'm thrilled, because I spoke in, support of it as well, but I don't think that there were, I think there were certain things that were legitimate concerns that it's just the positive that.
Mhm.
Okay,
Good.
so.
Perfect then. All right, well, with that said, let's go just dive into the director's report. So Stacy and Fabian, take us through.
So I'm gonna share the director's report, because you only got page 1, but not page 2. In your packet. So memberships have not changed at all, for memberships since our last meeting, just so you know. Programs, we have had to cancel a few programs. Teen movie night actually has moved over to the canceled one, so that's what's going on. Pumpkin decorating, I was not at pumpkin decorating, but it was a big success.
Yeah,
You
big
jumped in on
success.
that one?
Plenty people showed up. The feedback was great. Went very smoothly, and then we did the showcase afterwards. Not too many people showed up for the showcase, but it was a nice thing to offer anyways, which is where we set it up right in the parking lot and folks can kind of do a drive-through. Do we still have extra pumpkins left? that we
Yes,
can pawn
everybody
off
must
on
take a
folks?
pumpkin on their way home.
Yes,
We'll show
please,
you.
or 10.
Oh.
However many, take 1 or 10, however many you'd like.
Those are the little ones that you can actually. cook with.
Yes,
That's
yes,
neat.
so free.
Oh, fabulous.
Take them anytime. You know what, we'll do it one.
We have no chance, that's right.
I've moved.
We'll decorate. You guys are all home.
Yes, you're gonna drop a whole pallet right on this.
So was it similar to the numbers that have shown up before? I know decorating was different than carving, but.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't lose anybody on
Yeah,
decorating.
was this what you expected? Was it
Yeah,
lower, higher?
so last year we did a Friday night or Friday afternoon and a Saturday morning. This year we just did Saturday morning. I think it just really depends on the day. More people registered than showed up, which is not atypical for $5 if your kid wakes up and they're like, man, and you're like, you know what, we're good.
Yeah.
I don't want to-
Just take the $5.
I think you had a few people show up and pay day of.
Day of.
Probably we can have less sessions moving forward, but it's, we're still kind of playing with the time of day and so. Up next, we have Spooky Walk this coming weekend. Those numbers are wrong. They are higher.
Nice.
And we still have about 50 people collectively on the wait list, so probably more will show up than we are prepared for, but we are prepared for that.
What is the cap that we put?
I decided not to put a cap on this because there's people will just show up, and I'd rather know how many we're expecting than not know. And so we're expecting about 350 the first session and about 250 the second session. A lot of the businesses are like, wait, what? How many?
Yeah.
I know. They know what's coming.
Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, I talked to Amy Nelson, who's the director of economic and blah, 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 who deals with businesses, and I was like, they need to be prepared. It is going to be significantly higher. This year we have the added bonus, the select board is putting up their own table outside of town hall. They're gonna give out candy, I assume.
I think,
I cannot wait to see. I do not know, but they are taking shifts, so we'll see. But
where will they?
they're gonna be on the chapel street side of, because they can't be in front, so they chose chapel. Street.
It's supposed to be nice weather too, at
Yes,
least sunny. So, well, that's great.
so that'll be up.
At what time does that start? Just so I know when to drive through.
So the first one
Yes,
is,
stay away from the
first
center of
session
town.
is 10:45 to noon, and the second session is 12:30 to 1:45.
Okay.
After that, we have our turkey hunt in November, and then new this year is our gingerbread house decorating. So I'm actually hoping that the businesses buy too much candy, and then we can reach out and have them donate it back to us, so that we can
Oh,
use it
that's
to
great.
decorate gingerbread houses. So after doing gingerbread houses many times with many different ages of children, I have learned the very hard way that, and we're gonna do this as a team ahead of time. And you're gonna do it, and you're gonna come down and do it.
Oh, boy.
We're going to use glue guns and make the gingerbread houses out of graham cracker. And just glue them, because nobody ever eats the
Do it
graham
ahead of
crackers,
time.
and so we're just gonna have the houses ready and
They just need to be assembled. I agree.
Yep.
Pre-assembly.
pre-assembled, and buying pre-assembled was
Not-
pricey,
Yep.
and graham crackers are. nor is glue. So that is our plan ahead of time. So he'll be coming back for that.
Yes.
He just found out.
The programs that were canceled. This seems like a lot to me. Is this a surprise to you? And is it because you think some of these are no longer viable programs, no interest? What are you thinking? What do you?
Mixed bag. So, Kids Test Kitchen, I just think our session 2 is running, but not our session 1. So I think because of the age group of that particular program, it's early in the school year, and people are like, not yet. Archery, we need to work with him. We had 7 people registered. His minimum is 8. He canceled both sessions
Because of one.
because of one person. I don't love that. So we're gonna work with him, try a
Yeah.
different day, and if he's not willing to make a little bit of wiggle room, we're gonna look for other people.
Okay.
Harry Potter, that is the second time we've tried. That's an internal program. That's probably gonna drop off for a while.
Yeah.
And the sports leagues, I think it's just a tough time of day. We can't get into the gyms at 3 or 3:30. We have to go at 6 or 7, and I think it's a tough time to run those programs for
What
that
age,
Literally
what age
time.
group are you looking at?
it's
here?
like grades 3 to 5.
Yeah.
So it's a tough time. And then the last 3, Puddle Stompers is hit or miss on any given season, and Dodgeball and Frisbee. We always get like clockwork. We will wait till the last minute, we'll postpone a week and finally we'll cancel, and then the next week we get somebody who calls and says, my kid and their 17 friends want to sign up, what, I can't find it online.
That's, yes, it's not there anymore.
And so, sometimes it runs, sometimes it doesn't. Those 2 programs are internal, so it doesn't. Logan actually runs those programs for us, so it's not a big deal. As far as the number, Cindy, it's not out of bounds.
Okay.
The list looks long, but it's not. The family and the teen movie night are brand new. It was a shot in the dark.
We didn't get enough people.
For the teens, we got 0.
Yeah.
And for the family, we got 1 family. So.
Okay. I'll
Private
try
show-
it.
private showing.
Yeah.
Those are
We'll
just
send
things
them the
like,
DVD.
something new. see if it's fun. I typically expect somewhere between 15 and 20% of our programs to not run. Because we're trying new stuff all the time. New stuff sometimes takes some time to get their legs underneath them, and stuff that's been around for a while will sometimes just kind of trail off. So it is not a.
Okay, thank you.
Ooh. I lost it.
Page
Pools.
2.
Both pools have been closed and covered. DPW will be here in the next 1 or 2 weeks to winterize the bathrooms. Now, the pools themselves have been closed and covered.
Mhm.
We still have some work to do in the filter room. I know we talked about this, and Devin talked about this, one of the filters is broken.
Mhm.
And because of the eclectic decisions on the space that the filter is in, typically you take off the top of the filter and go in, and because of this, there's lack of space, we can't do that. So it's a whole team that's gonna have to tilt it,
Mhm.
support it, and then send somebody in to fix it. So that's a process that we are in the middle of.
Will Weston and Sampson do that, or is that?
They will
something-
absolutely do it. They're probably the only ones that can do it, and it's part of the on-call stuff.
Okay, okay.
But it is outside of the typical closing costs, so it will. cost us. Questions on the pools?
Were they able to fix, I guess there were some minimal cracks or certain items like that? I take it those were addressed in.
Yeah, so the little items, like we had to replace a lot of the depth markers, which are special stickers.
Oh, the stickers.
Oh,
Yep.
the stickers, yeah.
Special stickers, and then some welding on
Drainage.
the lap, well, not the lap pool, then.
Mhm.
So did you
Yeah,
have to
gutters.
drain the pools to do those stickers?
Mhm.
So
It was already
the-
drained at
The family pool is fairly
Yeah,
shallow, like, other than the very deep part, there was no water in it.
And so is there water in the pools now? So
yeah, we just refilled it about a week and a half ago.
they're
So we-
all, they're both.
They're both
Mhm.
filled to below the skimmer line, which is
Yeah.
what you have to do. And now, from now forward, we have to watch, because if the water's too high, because of rain or snow, we have to pump it regularly. So now, once a week, one of us will go down, peek underneath it, and sometimes we have to
Mhm.
actually regularly pump it.
Yeah.
And that so those covers are not watertight. obviously.
No.
No,
It's really to keep things
They
out,
keep
right?
things out and
Mhm.
humans
Dirt,
out. but they
debris.
do that.
Mhm.
Fields and anything else on?
No.
Before I move forward, fields and facilities, bathrooms will be winterized in the next 1 to 2 weeks, porta potties at Tefazio are already on site. I have been getting requests, actually, or I've been contacted through the select board that people are upset that all the porta potties are gone. Now, Park and Rec only put them in 2 locations. I can only guess that athletics took away the ones that were out at some of the athletic fields that they use.
Oh,
Like those mystery ones that we weren't ever getting a bill for.
Those are all athletics, and so they must have taken them in.
and that's the high school.
That's the high school, yes, so they put them at Cricket, and they put them at Newman, and they put them,
I think
I
it-
think, yeah, so. It's the very tail end of the season, so I'm not gonna put them out now, but we do need to think about that, in the spring. To put them out ahead of time before, or keep an eye, or work with Dan Lee and see where he's putting them, and we'll put them in.
So he's got something in his budget. most
Yes.
likely.
Yeah.
Okay.
he does.
It's $5.
Yeah, I'm happy to do
The courts at NHS, we're still working on the bid packet. It was stalled due to the operating budget, which I finished yesterday. It was the first time I did it without Kristen, so it took longer than it has in the past, but it is done.
that. And then when you
it's done on
finish and you
time.
look at it, like, why did that take so long?
Yes.
Right, but it does.
Yes, and
So-
for about 48 hours, my brain has been like, I don't know what to do now. Park and Rec people are not numbers people, so it was an experience. But that is done.
When do you generally hear back from town government of yay, nay, edit here, edit there? Within like.
Every department has a meeting with Kate, Katie, and Dave.
Mhm.
Mine is November 1st. We're early.
Oh, that's
Which I
very
like.
early.
I
That's
like
Tuesday.
early.
Wow.
I appreciate, I prefer it.
Next week.
Yeah, I know, I know what you said, yeah.
You mean the week? No, it isn't the week yet.
No, it's
Nope.
Tuesday coming up.
Well, it's all fresh in your brain.
That's why I prefer it.
Mhm.
And they have been slogging through budgets for 6 months or 3 months, so they're fresh too.
I should go first.
Yep, AV boxes, still working on a solution for the Wi-Fi
Mhm.
situation. And like I said, we already talked about the porta potties. Woo, we met. And like I said to him when he was here, the feedback has been 100% excellent. People are super happy. He is a very happy, energetic guy, and he had, and like he said, he'll go up to the kids and be like, hey, blah, 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 I need your help, and then the kids are like, okay.
Yeah.
Ed and I go up and then I go.
Yeah.
They blow us off.
Yeah.
So, that's been great. We're looking for staff and volunteers always, and our holiday staff party will be just save the date Wednesday, 12/8 from 6 to 8 in the purpose room, and that is when we pull in all of our seasonal staff, welcome them to have a party. Feed them all kinds of junk. And they're allowed to bring friends, and that's, I believe, one of the biggest drivers for our seasonal staff numbers being so high.
And what's the date?
12/28, so it's the Wednesday after
Mhm.
this evening. And then what is not on here is, as you all know from my phone call yesterday, David is leaving us. He
Sorry about
has
that.
taken a job in Philadelphia.
I know.
Director position, so we are happy for him.
Yes.
You're all on camera.
You're advancing.
Yes.
Professional life.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. No, it's very, very bittersweet. I'm gonna miss everybody, of course, I'm gonna miss the town. Definitely learned a lot over the last year and a half, almost 2 years here. But yeah, it's a great opportunity, great town. And I look forward to it, next step in my career, so it's exciting, yeah.
You
Thank
always
you
want
very
lots
much.
of people that want to take that next step and advance in the career, so congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it, yes, thank you.
And what is your last day?
Last day will be the 10th, so the day before Veterans Day.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm. Yes, yes, so about 2.5 weeks here left,
Yeah.
yeah.
And as far as the department goes, the position has been posted. It was posted quicker than any position has ever been posted. I think HR felt for me.
Yeah.
We have already gotten 9 responses.
Since it went live yesterday, Friday.
Mhm.
Wow.
Now, the caveat is it's on Indeed. So half of those
Okay.
people are,
Just like,
you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
But we are getting responses. It's on a rolling schedule, so there is no end date. It's just rolling until we find the right person.
Terrific. And this is not a terribly bad time of year. to-
This is actually an excellent time for.
Mhm.
for
Yeah,
partner
so thank you
people.
for that.
Yeah, hey, go for it. For us.
May, you would be getting. it.
Oh, yeah. No, I knew during the summer too. I was like, no chance. That'd be.
No, if it was in May, I would just say no.
Sorry, you're nine. Yeah.
Wait a few months.
Yes.
And that's it.
Mhm.
Unlikely to have an internal candidate, is that unlikely that we? would
We
have
did
an
post it
internal?
internally and we have not received one.
Hmm.
I can't think of any off the top of my
I
head,
can't either, but
but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that it won't.
I know you did say you're gonna wait, to get the right candidate, but if you had to put a time frame on it, the last date you would like to have someone in the position would be by,
The very last day.
like, February first, like?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we start hiring pretty much December 28th at that
Mhm.
party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when we
On the
start
spot.
the
Yeah.
madness, and so
Yeah.
I'd love to have somebody in place by then. While I did get it posted, I am under no misgivings that the rest of the process will go quickly, because as we know, it doesn't always, but I would like somebody in at the latest by February 1st, so that they can hire the staff,
Yeah.
know the staff, get to know everything, and then
Right.
hit the ground running when the pool does uncover.
Mhm.
Because regardless of what pool experience you may have, this is a wildly different animal.
Different.
Mhm.
Pool, beach, doesn't matter, so.
Mhm.
That is one of the things that so far, nobody has any of our applicants, so we do blind resumes.
Hmm.
And so I see very little information other than what they put on, so no names, no addresses, no schools. No years, just where they have worked in the past and what they have done.
Do you have dates of where they've worked, so that you can see if they've been?
I do have dates of
They're
when
usually
they
having job
work.
offers.
Yep, so that's it, and then once they make it past the first screening, then I can get their resume.
Right.
But to date, I haven't seen that very much aquatics background, and that is something that I talked to a colleague in Belmont today, and that is the norm at the moment. Finding people with aquatics backgrounds is difficult.
Really?
now, wasn't that also, I don't say the struggle, but when we were interviewing for, you baby, and then we changed the job description to get a little bit more descriptive of what
Yes.
certain things,
And
we didn't have to do it this time, because it's,
no, I
Same.
updated it again.
okay.
I updated it again to be even more
Mhm.
aquatics focused, knowing. And like talking to Fabian and realizing how much of your year goes into it,
Mhm.
wanting to make sure people had some aquatics backgrounds. And we put in more preferred certifications or like, so we have requirements and then we have preferred certifications like a CPO, which is a certified pool operator and things like that, but also just putting that in the description says, this is what we need. We're willing to let you do it while you're here, but these are the types of certifications we're looking for. Yeah.
Thank you.
So. It's literally been 3 work days, so I'm not that concerned, but. I do keep an eye on it, right?
Do you know anybody out there? I'm sure you know people, anybody who might be looking for a job, who might be good
Yeah,
candidate?
I mean, I know. I do know unfortunately, there's a lot of director positions out there right now in different communities. Shrewsbury, there's one in New Hampshire, Norwood. There's another one that's more local, but. So there are director positions that. Sort of meet our salary range, so depending on where the person's coming from. Ours is a lot more specialized.
Okay.
And I think that's it for the director's report, if anybody has any questions.
Not at this time.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for that. We'll just go into additional discussion items, commission goals, that I think is the other attachment that you have under the director's report. Or at least you have the annual calendar and then the goals.
So the annual calendar is a new addition, and this is just.
I like it.
So it's internal. It doesn't totally encompass the commission's requirements. I think those need to start to be added in, but. Fabian and Kristen actually did this before Kristen left. We go over the items at our weekly meeting, like, okay, for February, we have to get to X, Y, and Z. Right now, we are, doing a couple of events and working on the winter brochure is what October, November is. So we look at it weekly, I figured I might as well put it in your packet. Bi-weekly so that you can see it as well.
No, this is, I mean, a very
That's
detailed of, honestly, you're at least doing 8 things a month,
Yeah,
if not more.
yes, yes, and there's always things that. We're like, wait, we have to do that this month, and so we're still moving things around, we're still adding, we're still taking things off. So as we go through. Often it helps us tell you what you guys need to talk about, like a lot of like fees setting, goal setting, things like that are on here. And so we're always like, if you have anything that is not on here, if you notice anything that you also need to do, because I do want to incorporate what the commission's requirements are
Mhm.
per month, and I think that will help us stay. ahead of the game, too.
Okay,
You may want to just add in special town or a town meeting in May, it seems, I think that could encompass your staff as well as.
And then
And,
potential
yeah.
special. so-
Yeah, which is usually October, November, it's not the same time every year,
Mhm.
but it's,
within the time frame.
yeah, usually the end of October.
All right, anything else? I mean, this is an active list that we can always be editing. It's not
Oh,
like
it's an
once it's in.
internal list, it's not a posted thing, it's
Okay.
just something we work off of and keep updating as we go.
Okay.
So it'll just be part of your packet every meeting now.
Oh, good, okay.
Next thing we'll jump into as part of that is going through the commission's goals for FY 22. This is something that we always kind of edit at this time of year, because there's certain things that we check off the box that we then replace with something else. But some of these are gonna be on here forever, like number 2, address trash problems at the parks and athletic fields. In my opinion, that's never gonna go away. That is something that is actively, we're gonna be working towards, because we haven't found the right resolution yet, and it's something that's always gonna be on there, at least in my opinion of how, and ever since I've been on the commission, it's always been on there. But there are other certain things that we want to address and see what we can do and get on here. Now looking at this, does anybody have any suggestions of ones that we could edit, change, add? Stacy, let's go first.
Before we get to that, what I'd like to do with, if you all agree,
Mhm.
is to break these into 2 separate sections of goals. One are the yearly goals and one are the ongoing goals, so it's
Mhm.
more of it's not really a policy, but like you said, trash is always a goal of ours, getting more property to purchase potentially is always going to be a goal, so it's not attainable. But I also like to have attainable goals every year so that we can check things off, as
Cool.
opposed to all of them being like, uphold the Noir statement, yes. That is always a
It's gonna
focus,
be ongoing.
but it's going to be ongoing, so I think if we have a list of to-dos and ongoings, I
Mhm.
think that will help the department certainly, and maybe refocus the commission.
It's great. So how do we want to do this? I mean, do we want to go through the 10 on the list here and say this is a year-round thing, and then we can work on ones that we want to kind of check off every year, or what our goals are going to be for 2023?
My understanding was that was your homework.
Was
to
that
go
homework?
It
through.
was.
And did anybody do it?
Thought about it.
So I'm happy to do that. I'm also happy to give you homework again if it will get done before the next meeting.
We will.
Fred?
Did Fred do her homework?
Well, Fred has a question.
Fred is more than welcome to speak.
I vaguely remember you mentioning this. Yes, actually, but this is for us to come up with our own goals, not go by the like huge list of goals. We're not talking about what priorities we're talking about.
No, we're talking about goals, not the priority list. That is something separate. Those are things we already know about versus goals, which is something that we're trying to attain.
Got it.
But there are some. Certain.
Right, like the Board of Selectmen have a certain goal that we might share in on that interest.
And in your packet, the board of selectmen goals are there because some of them we do align with, and so we should, if we agree with them, we should make them part of our goals as well.
Okay,
A lot
Especially
of
at the-
goals.
I don't want a goal list like
Yeah, I
they
don't
have,
Yeah.
that is.
but it's something that we can.
But
Alright.
there are a couple that, as I went through, I'm like, oh, that should probably be part of our goals. as well.
Mhm.
So some of these are operational, full, meet with the
Mhm.
parks, the superintendent 2 to 4 times
Oh,
a year.
that
I
we can
didn't
check
make
off.
that, and that's not really a
Yeah.
goal, right? That's operational. We should
Right, that's
do
something we
that.
Yep,
do.
and it was something that we weren't doing.
Right, and
As a
so now we
practice,
wanna make
and
sure
now
we do it.
not
So we-
only-
So where do you put them? I'm not too good with goals and priorities and all that stuff. Yeah.
So that's why I was missing, so a lot of these are, most of these are ongoing, I don't know that. Any of them are like, we need to do this. I think. If I had to guess, a lot of our capital projects would be more like where our goals are at. Versus these either are operational, which we're either doing or we're hoping to do, and other ones are ongoing, so. I think it would be wise to really revamp this list about what makes the most sense, and if it's easier for me to meet with each of you one-on-one, either a call or Zoom. To talk about like what my thoughts are, what your thoughts are, then I can come up with a list of goals. Much like I did with the playground priorities, and then you can review it, see what you think.
Love
And
that
then,
idea.
yeah.
I kinda like
try
that
to-
idea.
Takes it off us. And that's Jason to help us.
But as homework, we did fail about doing this, so I think we can at least ask the commission to. Yes, set up a time with you to kind of go over what goals, and we can do
Yeah.
that on the individual, and I bet you there are gonna be some very common themes and threads that everyone's going to have, so.
Yeah.
I think if we can set that up and then revisit it at our next meeting, that would be great.
That sounds good.
But the one thing I would like to do, since we have it here, is the next on the list, or at least in the packet. Would be the responsibilities of the liaisons. That is something we can update right
That we
now.
can do, right now, yes,
Okay.
because that's more like, what are we doing?
Okay. So, I mean, we're just pretty much swapping, like, let's just take the names off to the left. And knowing like what the chairs are in regards to. The chair is gonna be the liaison of the select board, the finance committee, the trail advisory group, and the OSRP advisory committee.
I think not
Open space
necessarily.
recreation.
I knew what that meant, I was just waiting to see it.
Well, and I think, there is no OSRP advisory committee right
Yeah.
now, so that, and it needs to be come back.
Yes, it does. We got fairly far with that. We never, it was
We
not
did.
completed, but.
And so I inherited it 5 years after it started, and so it was out of date, and the committee hadn't met in many years, so we ended it in draft form. And because the OSRP is supposed to be reviewed every 5 years, we need to kind of just start up a new committee. I don't know that it needs to be the chair. I think Cindy.
I think it was.
was
Right,
because
I was on it.
Cindy
Committee.
wanted to be,
It's okay. Yeah.
and Cindy's also
Yeah.
on the Trail Advisory
Right.
Committee,
So
so.
there you go,
Which we just got started with. Baby. Just.
You. That's it.
all right, so looking at this. Pretty much we're gonna go through, I mean, in regards to vice chair, do we think anything needs to come off, anything needs to be added, or is this a pretty good? List of moving things around?
I'm not even sure it has to be. Like stuck with a particular chair versus a particular, like, if Cindy, who is not a chair or a vice chair, really wants to be trails, then I think there's
I'm-
no
Right,
reason.
so I
I'm fine with
would like
something
to
like
take
that.
trails and the open space.
I think the chair should be the liaison to the select board and.
In the finance-
Yeah, exactly, that's the point person.
But
correct.
like after that, I think it's more like, what's your sweet spot and
Okay.
what you prefer?
I have a suggestion and I'm happy to take it on, when I was looking through this, is maybe a liaison to, athletics.
We don't have one.
So there's a.
In general,
To.
We have youth sport, but we don't have NHS.
Right, so I think that's
Oh.
important, and I'm happy to take that on.
No,
So,
I would agree.
right, so NHS for,
you coming out of nowhere,
Thanks.
that's great.
yeah, that is,
Thank
because
you.
we have one youth sports organization.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Mhm.
And that kind of goes with what you have already in your. Right, you already have a co-liaison to.
yeah,
sports,
Michelle and I, yeah,
And then co-lead for field summit.
yeah, I think kind of, and it's probably, it's good because. Well, Michelle, too, you coach the high school too? No, oh, well, since I do, it's kind of like I already, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? Like I already know everybody,
You don't
so,
know.
Right.
Yeah,
Right,
so I think that's
That'd be
important, yeah.
and then would you put CPC
So
with Gina?
CPC I wanted to talk about today, I have. So I have not been able to make like the last 4 meetings. I know this is not their busy time. It's gonna start ramping up, which is good, because my busy time is about to be over. I just don't know what I'm doing, like, I don't, can I like get a sit down with somebody and like, what are my roles and why am I there?
The best thing to do would be to sit down with myself and Peter Pickentor, who is the chairman
Okay.
of CPC. And it would be a great open conversation to ask. I mean, I know for the first year that I wasn't doing it, I was asking constantly. So don't feel like you need to know everything going into it.
Okay,
But to have a good understanding of like, this is how procedurally it works and this is how the
Yeah,
flow works.
yeah,
That is definitely something you should know.
Okay.
That's something that we can, like I said, go with Peter or even another.
And he
member,
would probably be
something like
happy to do that, I would think.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
probably, seems like he'd be a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
resource.
I mean, I'll be able to go to their next meeting, I just honestly have not been able to go to the last, I think, 3.
that. I will do that right now and put a note to
So
send it.
then I would take work with staff and program development off of Dina's responsibilities.
I
Yeah,
can
that
jump in
sounds
on
good.
there.
Okay,
Is that a liaison that needs to happen on program development or playground program? Playgrounds, not playground, but the playground program, which is no longer in existence, I think is what it was referring.
Oh, no, I don't think it was
no,
that.
no, it was
specific.
not.
It was
No.
more playground.
Playgrounds.
Okay,
And program development, is that just like,
that's Chris's whole job.
Right, and so this,
oh, well then,
this arose when we, when this facility came online, we finally had a space to run programs. And we talked about all the programs that we're gonna be able to run and to make money with. And that's where that came from, so this goes back a few years. I don't know that that still makes sense, because I don't know that, I'm just speaking for myself, that I have more program background than you folks, I don't.
Right.
So I can work with you, but I don't know that I would be.
Right.
I don't know if anyone else here feels that way, but I feel like the
No.
staff, we now are staffed, well, not staffed up, but we were staffed up for about a minute and a half. People who know much more about programming.
Okay.
I think. most of the
Yeah.
commissions,
That
right?
makes sense to me, I
Okay.
just. as I'm
That's where
looking
that
through it, I'm
came from.
yeah,
I also don't really know if the field summit. If there needs to be a special liaison.
No,
for the
I
field summit.
No,
I think
I don't
we have
think, like,
visions of,
The more of you that can attend the field summit, the better for the staff, and so there doesn't be a liaison.
No.
yeah, I'm
we should
sure
all
we
be
have
part-
like a different vision of what that could be and how we can.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah,
I mean, when that well, that's not on our agenda for today, but maybe we could talk about like. How the format of the field summit moving forward and like what our
Mhm.
goals and objectives for that moving forward are. And maybe like who will lead that meeting, I don't know if it's like you, would it normally be you? I mean, I'm
Normally
happy
be the
with
chair in
Yeah.
conjunction with the.
with
head of the
Stacy,
department.
okay, all right.
Yeah, or, you know, vice versa, Stacy. would-
Yeah.
But I do have I was doing some of the homework and I did brainstorm some ideas, but for the field summit with that can be next meeting anyway.
Mhm.
But
Oh,
yeah,
I
I
like
think we
that
can
suggestion.
take that off.
So then, Michelle, what would you like to do? What would you like to keep? What would you- And then, of course, Fred should jump in on what is interesting to her, obviously. She doesn't have to be Bruce. She's not Bruce, clearly not Bruce.
I mean, oh, maybe it's an upgrade, I don't know.
I think the youth, I would like to continue to work with youth
Yeah,
sports organizations. I mean, I think if Fred and I are gonna work with this,
Active recreation.
yeah, which
Yes.
hopefully is just 1 year. And
That works.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal. I
It
think
is.
That
I think
has a
so.
lot of potential,
Mhm.
right, to move us forward and get us off the dime on some,
yeah,
maybe a
Definitely.
potential big project.
Yeah.
And what is it called?
I
Active,
don't know. when
Active recreation group,
active recreation. Oh,
active recreation working group.
Get that right.
let's Get some acronym on
Needs
it,
to be-
remember that, yeah. So you two
Yeah.
are.
Yep.
Great.
So I have you guys down for that. For youth sports, do you think there needs to be a co-liaison? Is that helpful? Do you want to take the high school and you can take youth
I
and
was
there
gonna
needs
say
to be
that.
overlap? We can.
Yeah.
There is
figure
so
that
much
out.
overlap, because if you think of the
yeah,
summit, it's. the next
yeah,
year.
that's great. That's fine.
Okay. And then we have the liaison to the appointees, which is,
no, I reached out to my two, and they actually came last year to our virtual meetings.
Feels like it's been a long.
So, no.
Was it only last year?
It was last year, as a matter of fact, it was in
So-
February.
So Fred and you probably know this, but we
Yeah.
have appointees on.
Yeah.
The council on, I'm gonna say the council on aging, I don't know if that's the correct name, and the youth
Yeah.
commission, that's not the correct name for those two
Youth
groups.
services.
Youth services,
yeah.
yeah. So we get to appoint a person to those boards, right? So it's the park and rec person, so they're on that board and they, they have whatever responsibilities you have as a board member, but then they are supposed to look out for issues that would, relate back to park and rec and make sure they're looking out for our best interest. If there's something that they need to speak up on because it reflects or, reflects back to us, they do that. And we're supposed to have them in once a year, just so that they remember who we are, we remember who they are, and they tell us what's going on in their boards. But I didn't remember that it was last year, because sometimes we have gone 2 years without doing that,
Mhm.
which is.
So it's just for them to come here. You don't
Yes.
Have to go to their
Right.
meeting.
No, they come to us and kind of tell us what's been going on their board and if they have had anything come up that has park and rec implications.
So I'm connected to both of those groups.
Mm.
If Chris wants to take that off his plate.
Sure,
That'd be great.
Okay.
I think.
yes.
And who are those people?
Oh,
We
I have to
had,
read
Colleen Shaler, I think is.
well, yeah, is it still Colleen? I thought it
Yeah.
was Penny. It's not.
No, it's not.
Grossman? Stephanie Grossman? Oh, so we're back to Colleen, okay.
And Sarah Shine is, I
She's the
believe,
director.
Director of Youth.
yes,
Yeah, but she's not our person on
not our
that. board.
liaison, but
I can
Chris
pull it up.
has them, so we.
Yeah, I don't
I have the
remember.
names.
that. She did come in, I don't
Yep.
remember.
I also have, sorry, one other suggestion I forgot to mention. I think we should have like, I don't know if it's like a liaison, but like, and I'm happy to do it, but with media, like with the paper,
What paper?
Hometown Weekly, because I feel like they're willy-nilly, like publishing some stuff without talking to us first, and
Which they can do, I mean, they don't have to come to us, but we could have somebody reach out to them. Typically, what our policy
you know
is
what I mean.
for town staff is everything goes through Cindy,
Yeah. somebody
absolutely
got involved.
everything.
Oh,
And then, right,
okay,
Cindy Gonzalez, the PI,
okay,
and then like, Needham Channel reached out to Cindy about Woo. to see if we could
Okay.
Interview, then Cindy reached out to me. And then Cindy connects whoever needs to be connected. Nobody reaches out directly to them.
Cause that gives a
Okay.
consistent message
Yep.
and she's,
And if people do reach out to
Good.
me, which they have, I
Yeah.
always pull in Cindy and say,
Yeah.
this is what's going on, what do you want me to do?
okay.
Um,
Yeah, that's, why I just, it's like that article, the pickleball, when, they talked about the online sign up and like, the facts were all wrong, like, it's frustrating, and it wasn't, no, it's nobody's fault, they didn't come to you,
right,
like, it's,
right, they didn't
Right.
ask.
They didn't,
yeah. But as long as there's somebody, like, that's great, yeah, I don't need to take on anything else, it was just a suggestion.
Board of Health, I think if the chair should always be select board and finance, probably the vice chair should be Board of Health. I don't know how often we need that, but those are like the big three.
We'll just knock on their door next to us.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time Tim just popped in and said,
Yeah.
move on, we can work it out, but if there needs to be, then shall I volunteer you? Sorry, sure. We have playgrounds. You want to keep that as a liaison?
Do we need that?
Nope, I don't think we do, but if you all do, then you are
We
the
do,
commission.
and it feels like we're getting structure around it.
Same, so currently I'm the staff liaison to the Memorial Park trustees. If you would like commissioner to also be a liaison, that's fine. Bruce didn't ever come to a meeting, that's fine. I don't know if he ever talked to them.
If we have
How
a
often do they meet?
representative.
How often are they scheduled to meet? Once a month,
Two-part question, okay. How often do they meet?
depends.
Okay.
Did I show up last meeting and have not a quorum? I sure did.
Is that something that, I mean, we've always had in the past, is that something that we would need to run by them to be like, oh, so hypothetically, Fred is the liaison, is that something that they have to vote in, or is it just something of?
I didn't even know they had a liaison. All they know is me.
I'm not sure that we need a little something.
No.
And
If
you
you're
sent-
there,
and you
If
sent
I
me
was, so before
There's-
me,
Dave,
Yes.
Connect had-
They-
Yeah.
Dave will-
And
yeah,
Dave-
you
It
both.
helped.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Dave used to be in trustees.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
But a
and
new
before me,
person.
Cecilia Sinjak was the liaison.
Mhm.
And so if it's not me, it probably we should have a liaison.
But since it's
Right.
you.
But since it's me, then
Right.
I'm getting all.
And
the
before
information.
her, Patty was.
Patty was
Patty was the
liaison and
person.
you probably didn't have a
Right.
liaison, so. Yeah, Cecilia very quickly handled that. job. School committee.
I'm happy to have that. I know
Alright.
every one of them.
Done. I will update this
I do have some,
meeting, Derek will,
One.
and then.
sorry, Michelle.
Hmm.
Something I want to add on more, kind of spitball by, it doesn't necessarily have to be on here, but I'm going to use the examples of when we have projects going through. So we'll use Claxton, McLeod, and say the Action Park. If there is a particular commissioner assigned to one of
Yes.
those, they own it and they stay with it no matter what position they are in the commission. So if you were, say, the vice chair for the Action Park and then you become the chair, you are still with that project. So
we Stay
any,
with it until it.
got it.
Until it's
Finish.
done.
It's just because if you're there at the beginning, you should be there at the end.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, and it's, to get someone else up to speed of where you are, I think it's unfair both to. Person going out, person coming in, and the project itself, so if you get assigned a project, you own that project until the completion of said project, okay?
Yeah,
But that wouldn't be included here. so-
No, this is just
Outside
something,
of
yeah,
the
this is just
scope.
something that like internally that we would do, so.
Yep.
We
do
can
we have
a
a point person
Just
for,
gonna say, so we can't
Yeah.
have we don't have a running list of who the point persons are for all of our projects, other
Yeah.
than me or Ed. I think for some projects, it's unnecessary for you all to be involved, and I think for other ones that you should be, so we can add it to this list. As a sort of revolving list, because like, for the greens resurfacing, none of you need to be involved in that, that
exactly.
was a done deal.
Right.
But for the
wow,
McLeod,
yeah,
potentially, Claxton,
Claxton, yeah.
potentially, and the active recreation group, obviously, whatever that goes to next, it doesn't have to be one of you, but whatever gets chosen. There, we may or may not need it. one person.
yeah,
But no, like, yeah, the ones that we decide that have a point person, keep that point person for the whole life of the project.
right.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
All right, the next thing on there I see is the selectable statements. We'll look at those as part of our homework to see where we have the commonalities.
You guys need a like reminder about the homework?
I do. It'd be nice.
I will send,
Not
I will
normal.
send a reminder out.
I
I
normally
would
don't,
like
but
guidelines on the homework.
I had the worst.
With
brain
that,
fog
or-
ever.
The cheat sheet.
Yeah, just like, this is what we're looking for.
What's
Craig.
gonna be on the
Keep it in
test, in
line,
other
you know,
words?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, here's an example.
What's on your mind?
Yeah, it'd be a good start. Yeah, yeah.
You got it, I can send that on.
Okay.
I feel like, oh my God, thank you. You're wrong direction. Yeah.
All right, so going back to additional discussion items, we're now looking at field fees and field summit. Do we have a date of when we would like to do the field summit in general?
I have honestly not even considered that. It is now high on my to-do list. It has, it's not been until Tuesday. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know that we have some new members on here.
Yes, yes, yeah. I had to go to another commission meeting. Yes.
We did one, we generally do them in January, even as late as February, but one year we did it in December. And I thought it went over extremely well. Would people be up to having that again in December? I know we kind of want to keep December a very light type of thing, but is December a time where?
I think it depends on what one on the field side.
Yeah, I
If
think we
you
should.
are, if we're gonna change
Okay.
field fees and we're gonna change the whole makeup, I don't know if December gives me enough time to
Okay.
prepare.
Yeah,
But if it ends up being similar to what it has been, then yes, absolutely. So I think as a commission, you need to figure that out.
Okay,
I think December is probably too soon.
We're on.
Field fees.
When do you typically do it?
Most of the time it was January, however. We have been just talking about changing the field fees
Right.
for a number of
Mhm.
years, at least since I've been here. We haven't done it. In order to do it fairly to the user groups, it cannot be done in January, because
Right,
half of them are already hosted and half of them are already paid. I don't know what the correct time is, other, because I don't know, like, when do you sign up for flag football? When do you sign up for track? Like, it's gonna hurt somebody, but I think if we say in January of 2024, the fees will change.
Right,
So I think we have to give enough lead time.
yes,
And we can say that in the field summit without telling them what the fields are gonna change to.
right.
But we do have to give them a date to be prepared for it,
yes,
so that if they need to change their fees, that they can.
We could say in January, we're gonna change them for the fall
Yes.
and let the group say, well, this is when I need to know, you know. Marcus could say, well, we always send our fall stuff out in April, so we need it on, that would tell us about we can make this deadline.
Could we even
Right.
toy with the summer? That if we say in January, you would think the most registrations for summer activities start April.
Maybe, I'm feeling like there's not so much in the summer.
Much
I'm feeling
Right,
like it's
but I mean,
more-
so you-
Right, but you're thinking even when it,
summer would start, like, I mean, my experience, what I've seen, like, for instance, I noticed Needham Soccer is. 2 weeks ago registering for spring, so they're like, and most of them are. they're
And they
like
would have
8 months.
registered before the summer for the fall,
Yeah,
which is why I think if if we pick a date, January 2024, all the fees are gonna change.
People know
prepared.
about
I
it
think that's
well in
good.
advance.
Well in
they know
advance.
a year ahead
They'll
of
know
time,
a year at
Yeah.
a time, they'll know before their registration starts.
yeah,
And you could, so you would even say that if it starts with the people that register in the fall for spring of 2024, we could even probably have those numbers to them by mid-July.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
yeah,
okay,
I'm in agreement with that.
okay.
Could we talk a little bit about what the goal, I mean, the last few field summits I went to as a person, like a non-commission member. I didn't feel, and this was before you, Stacy, I didn't feel like I got anything out of those, like, what's the point of that? Like, what's the objective?
Oh, I would say in the past, it was to communicate of what we like to see. Pick up your trash after yourself. If you don't have the permit for a field, you shouldn't be on the field. But in the past, we had nobody to enforce that. Or what it would be is that Eddie's just happened to be driving through and stops his truck and picks up all the trash that's on there.
Right.
I mean, there have been many days that he would flag me down at Memorial to be like, hey, so you're dropping your kid off, let's go walk the field together. There was no protocol for that. And there was nobody enforcing it, saying, listen, if you don't pick up after yourself, we're gonna take away your permits.
right, in the previous year, we did, if we had some pretty big things like concussions or a
Right.
big issue.
Yeah,
And we had a couple of years where
Yep.
we kind of worked with the Board of Health and, what do we need to have in here for concussion protocols, and then work with the sports group, so that was
Yeah.
communicated.
Mhm.
So if we have any issues like that, and I can't recall if we have anything right now that we want to talk to them about, but I feel like we often have one or two things that we say this would be great for the field summit. But that's what you should get out of
Yeah.
it,
Yes.
as well
Major
as,
announcements, essentially.
right, major
Yeah.
announcement, as well as talking about the sharing of the fields, and this year, I think we want to talk about
parking.
well,
Yes,
parking, but
the
you
flow
can't,
interface, yeah,
you
okay.
can't book every field for every hour. If you don't think you're gonna use it, that, because that's not right.
That
And
has
then
to
you're
kind of be a policy.
No, that has to be an absolute.
Yeah.
right, and you, but you're right, the
Yeah.
parking is a big thing that we need to talk about. We now have to think about how many participants. And cars are there because we can't have this situation.
Right.
going on. So
Right.
I think that's a big deal for us to talk about at the next field summit.
Yeah,
And some of those things, I mean, the fees, I think it's a good idea to wait till 24, but implementing some of those policies, you may want to do those a little bit earlier, because if
Oh, yeah.
not, then you're getting a whole nother calendar year of folks booking up every single field.
yeah,
And I don't think that's.
And we are
wise.
working internally to try and change the way people book, and and part of the fee change is gonna be to negate the blanket booking.
Yeah.
So like, there'll be a per person and a per time slot, so that people don't just book Saturday 8 to 8, or like every field, every Saturday 8 to 8.
Mhm.
I think that's smart.
Because I cannot tell you how many times I drive through here on the weekends and want to pull my hair out, because I know that it's booked, and there's nobody.
Nobody out there.
Right.
Ghost.
Yeah.
But the moment somebody else walks on that field, you're getting a phone call.
Every-
Another question too, do we have these, like, the user groups, do they sign off on anything, say
They
they're
don't-
gonna pick up after?
No,
this?
and that's part of, I looked at our old field policy and I'm moving to update some of them because I think some of them are. The pages are unnecessary, but other ones are like, you know, sign off that you are gonna do X, Y, and Z.
Mhm.
If you need lights, you're gonna contact me, not at 7:45 PM.
Yes.
To turn them on
Right.
10 minutes ago, but that you're gonna tell me a week ahead, like
Mhm.
X amount of time. This
Yeah.
is like, so it needs to be updated out across the board.
Mhm. And it'll make it easier to hold them accountable. too,
It will
'cause
make it
we can't
easier,
tell them to
and
do something
now,
that
and
Right.
and now the permits will be easier to, we'll have different permits, Woo will have the permits, Woo can go out there and say,
What are you doing?
what are you?
Mhm.
Also, Woo can say, hey, I was there on Friday afternoon. It's booked, nobody was there.
Yeah.
And we can start to keep a record of when
Yeah.
people aren't using it.
Yeah,
Cause I know organizations book time for rain dates. I understand why you would do that. It makes it super difficult on my end to finagle time between all of user groups, the increasing number of user groups, if we're also just booking time that we might need. And it's harder for us as a department to run programs if
Yeah.
every field is booked all the time.
and other special event requests too, because, you know, sometimes we tell folks like, oh, no, this is reserved.
Yeah.
And God forbid this family drives by and they're like, nobody was there, you
Right,
know, so it's like. it's that
Yes.
piece of it too, yeah. Yeah, so.
yeah, I agree.
yeah.
So I think the field summit needs to be revamped. I think the policy packet needs to be revamped, and I think the fees, like,
So can we do any of this before January, not the fees, so set the fees aside, but the policy? Can we revamp that plan?
I would highly recommend all of you guys, the link is right on the special event request form, which you have experience with now. Right towards the top, the joint policy, I highly recommend you guys take a look at that before your next meeting.
yes, and
And really go
it's
through it,
not.
because there's enough loopholes to drive a truck through.
No,
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of.
Yes,
stuff.
Yeah, yeah, so even if you guys just jot some notes on it, take a red pen to it and just go at it,
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
yeah. Do we want to? So for our next meeting, do we wanna plan on talking about the field summit and? Kind of
We
more
could have that.
specifically our objectives and what we're gonna talk about and.
Meeting as we.
I'd
talk
like to
about-
hold the field summit, I'd like to talk about the field, summit, not next meeting, but in December, because I'd like to hold it in January.
Yes,
February.
Yes,
The summit in December, yeah,
because we technically looking at the very lovely sheet that was printed by Derek.
yeah,
Technically, it looks like we only have one meeting in December because the way the holiday falls. So,
yeah.
the
And that
November
was
20th.
No, yeah, that right after Thanksgiving. or- Yes.
No, it's a-
No. Oh, yeah. Oh, but
Yeah, right.
Right. No, I think we could definitely do that, so,
Okay,
all right, anything else to go over with field fees? Nothing, okay. Capital projects,
Yeah, it's getting.
it's hot.
Yeah, 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 I thought it was just me too.
running hot.
No, I'm done.
Now you got it.
I am.
For capital project plan was submitted on October 17th. I do not, I did meet. I don't know, I don't have a date yet when I meet about those. The operating budget was submitted on Tuesday. That'll be yesterday. That I do meet with town management on November 1st. To discuss the operating budget. I will let you know about when the capital project is.
In
When that meeting is.
regards to the two that we have kind of sitting out there, like, in my impression, McLeod, 99% done. In regards to like design,
Oh, yes.
things like that, like, there's no other meeting that really needs to be had, it's been submitted.
No, the request is for construction,
Okay,
not design,
got it, excuse me.
for both of those projects.
Okay, good. The only other question, I know that you had mentioned at the last meeting that Cass from is no longer with Weston Sampson. Do we have a new representative? for-
Brandon W. Can't
Okay, okay, it's last name.
Can I say in kindergarten?
It's not. I don't know his last name off the top of my head. Cass, I could tell.
Yeah, okay, no, just no.
Person.
Just
So
no-
Brandon and I met Brandon at the. in September, and so I have had some FaceTime with him, and I
Okay.
actually talked to him over email today. Because he's in a different project with Eddie, not related to us, so
Thanks.
I connected them. Something.
Okay. Any updates CPC wise? I mean, there's really nothing to talk about. There's nothing been presented, but, and I know we talked about, we're gonna get together with Peter, but any,
There was, but I think you were copied on the email, that
There was an email today.
Peter.
from
Peter sent an email. Oh. He basically, in a nutshell, he just looking for the priorities. I mean, that's it, right? I mean,
That
if,
was
you know,
on,
but that's, I mean, I told him that you were working on it and that you had other things, so that you would get it to them. Within, you know, a reasonable amount of time. They did not make it sound like they needed it ASAP, so apparently it sounds like they do, so,
I'm forwarding it all,
okay.
okay,
Thanks.
so that you have,
boom,
but that one is mostly on my plate,
okay.
which is getting full all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Crazy,
Big
jeez,
plate.
yeah, great job.
It's a big plate.
I mean, I can also, Stacy, communicate with them too, that, you know, Fabian is leaving and that you're gonna be on your own for.
I've owed that to them for a while, so it's.
Okay,
It's definitely
all
something
right.
that we need to do, and it's.
Okay.
It's necessary to move forward. so
Okay.
it's-
Alright. But other than that, no,
Have you been sworn in yet?
I have not been sworn in yet.
Oh my God.
I know, so I'm like, what's happened? Like, that's what I'm saying.
Or you just
You have
go
to go see
down,
the town clerk.
set up a time, you just.
Just stop down
email
when
her.
she's there and she'll sort of.
Oh, the last time it was Pete, somebody was, I thought I was supposed to meet with somebody.
I will
Peter
forward that
or-
email to you.
Okay,
You just show up. It's
I
a
just
call.
show up.
She's
Yes.
there most of the time.
okay.
I mean, she
alright.
works full time, so.
Don't show up on November 8th.
Yeah, voting day.
Should be a little bit busy.
Alright, I'm just, now that I know that, I thought I was waiting for somebody to do something before I could do that, okay.
Literally just got sworn. in. You're
Okay.
now in public life.
And I just go and then I just say, here to be sworn in as the CPC person.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
That's simple. Perfect.
Sounds good.
All right. Playgrounds and facilities.
They have finished spreading for greens, updated, they finished spreading the sub base, which is the stone. And now I'm waiting on a hard date for when the rubber will be installed. Now, I did talk to Taldo today because I heard over the weekend that there are kids on the playground.
Oh,
It's a
even
construction
though
site, it
closed,
should be fenced off.
It is fenced off and it's easier to jump a fence and greens climb under it because there are some gaping holes that will be fixed with the project, however. So I did, make sure that Cataldo is locking everything up as much as possible, and they are, so, as soon as we get the date for the rubber, I'll let you know. My concern on the rubber is it is in the bid, Cataldo is responsible for making sure nobody walks on the rubber while it is curing.
For like 72 hours, I thought. or something like-
24
Okay.
before it's really safe. We will keep the playground closed for much longer than 24,
Mhm.
but in my previous community, the company had somebody sit there all night in the car
Mhm.
and watch it, because the minute you stick a foot on there, you have to redo
The whole-
so much.
And that's something that,
And if that happens one time, we will not open that playground until the spring. Because we're gonna just run right into winter
Mhm.
in the snow. And so we'll keep it closed.
so can
So-
we pay someone to?
no, it's part of the contract.
I know,
Yeah,
but if they don't do it, it means we don't have a playground all winter.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
Are you thinking that Cataldo's not gonna hold up to say someone's needs to
I'm
watch
thinking
it
that,
for
that
24?
we have more of an interest in it than they do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Would that be
I don't know if there's a
police
whole bag
detail,
of
maybe?
money or whatever, and I'm not saying that they're not.
Yeah, and that's a hard sell, but that's usually,
I'm not implying that they won't live up to their contract.
is it something we can do? Sure.
Is it worth it? I don't know.
It is.
Is it crazy?
It's. It could be difficult if it's not, I wouldn't wanna be the person telling somebody not to jump the fence.
Oh, I would.
Yes.
Well, we're praising you.
I'm sorry, Brenda.
Catching your pen and
Oh,
watching.
sure. Certainly.
that.
It just is-
Okay.
Well, could we enlist the help of the department?
That's what I was thinking.
You just said that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
They are,
Sorry.
yeah. But that would be a
That's a
detail.
great
That would be-
idea.
Thank you.
We would have to.
That's a lot more expensive.
Yeah, we would have to pay, depending on what it was, time and a half to.
It-
if it was over.
No, every detail.
Well, I meant more.
Oh, everything
Every
comes up?
detail.
And you are mostly concerned with kids, I mean, we're not concerned with overnight with people.
Maybe.
You're mostly concerned.
I think, so my plan is to put as much out on Facebook because we can push things out through the news you need, but that is not gonna stop. The
Right.
kids that we're trying to target, it's just
Right.
like, but if we put it on Facebook and more families are like, wait, what? If they
Yeah.
ruin it, then it'll be a community,
Right, the community loss.
community loss, and I think more people will pay attention. And we'll be better off that way.
Is it stipulated in the contract that if he does not ensure if people don't step on it, but then the cost falls on him to replace?
100%.
Okay, then.
But it's still us, it's still the
Just
community
pushes
that's done
us.
without the
Yeah.
playground, right?
So it's, I'm saying though, like he does have a vested interest,
Right.
Yes.
financial interest.
He
So
has a
there's a little.
Huge
more.
financial. impact
Right, so
because-
maybe we can rely.
Mhm.
I don't know.
It would be a huge financial threat.
What
And is
day
there
is it?
I call back, I don't have a date yet, but once
Is
I
it
do.
temperature sensitive too, right? There must be a temperature so
There's a
that they can't
temperature.
do this.
Mhm. Which is why we're waiting on.
Oh, right.
The reason I asked about if it's a weekday, the likelihood of that happening is much lower than if it's a Friday.
So there, and that was my suggestion to them, and that is their plan. It comes down to when the material is coming in, and like Cindy said, the temperature.
Yeah.
Because it is a rubber, it needs to cure, and it has to have X amount of degrees. But it looks nice over there, and I took a picture of the pile of boards and planks that you wanted to handle, so that they are all.
Down with one of our goals.
So are you going to set a time for people to come and get? them?
Yeah, whenever Fred's available, people,
Fred's doing-
but I also,
I mean, sure, what else am I doing? Ever.
yeah, no, you're
Maybe the
just.
night that they're watching the.
Yeah, exactly. Come by between midnight and 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I
Yes.
hear.
Come by candlelight.
Having the-
What's happening with those boards? People are just taking them back?
Someone, a lot of
Yeah.
people
A lot
want
of
them.
people have requested that we keep them. Some have already been damaged due to
Oh.
our rot and termites. Other ones look like they're damaged, but we did stockpile them. We are gonna set up a time for people to come by. I don't wanna do it while there are construction vehicles
Yep.
in there, because I don't want people in.
And you're not gonna do anything with those boards, right? If people don't take them, you're gonna.
They're gonna jump.
Yeah.
They'll be jumped, because we're gonna create a new site once
Right.
this project.
Is there a reason why, I mean, like, I have a board over there. Is there a
If
reason
you
why?
pay
just
the
a
one
rent,
now, right?
I didn't
Uh,
pay, what would I do with it?
People, I think,
Okay.
I honestly.
Oh, it's good, but I'm just like,
I honestly
Yeah, I
would
want the
support product, but people are like, I've gotten some very heartfelt emails about, we really want our board, is it fair, can we take it? I'm not gonna stop them, but
right.
I'm not putting them in my car to transport them anywhere, because there's.
Termites.
and rock. So,
Right. I mean, they're a nice idea, I like the way they look, I'm glad that.
No, that's right.
Anyway, we will set up something in the near future,
10 years.
to have people come by if they want to, but not while they're.
No, definitely.
Any idea how many there are? Any idea?
Roughly a
A
hundred.
lot.
Yeah.
That's been half of them is like corporate or group.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, for the handful of people that I've been contacted by. Yeah, I mean.
I want to.
Is it spreading or is it the-
Ball and.
That's what one of them looks like?
That's one of the files. There's another one.
I just don't know why I would want.
Well, like if it sounds like your family name, I
Oh,
think
yeah,
that it'd be
yeah.
something you want to put up.
Or pest- pest
Something
control?
great. I know.
Yeah, it's your new family. Termites. Yeah.
My new family.
Yes.
Now, will those
I
names
don't know,
go on
maybe-
the side? Is that-
So the
Yeah.
original,
Yeah, those are-
that's where you want to use. organizer of the event has all of the original names.
Oh, got it.
So it's one of
Okay.
those things that if you wanna re-up or if they want to put it on there, if they were.
Right, it would be nice to have a recognition.
Yes, it would,
but I
yes,
don't
it would.
know.
That be brought board,
That's a board.
That's,
they were green.
that's not a board. This is a different facility.
Oh.
Who can guess what facility that's?
Ooh, I gotta guess.
I saved it for you. I was gonna say that's Tot Lot, right?
Rainbow House. That's the Rainbow
Oh, I
House.
like it. I like that.
Several layers.
I thought it was cricket too. Yeah.
For you. There's a
I
piece.
painted so many layers on my.
So I'm just putting out there now, the Rainbow House is not quite down. But it is coming down. I went out there today to pull out the boards that were going to come down. The Rainbow House now has some lovely skylights.
It's got a new modern look.
But it is, I have gotten 4 C-clip fixes this week. It's only Wednesday. About the Rainbow House. They wanted to fix it.
No,
They, I appreciate people, people want me to fix X, Y, and Z, but they don't want to remove any. That kind of, I am
Well, I
very
think it's
thankful that
time
we
for
went with the Fazio
Yeah.
as the next one up.
It's time for the rainbow house to go. Sadly, I mean, it's been there, it was old and like.
So.
Chris, did you find that rainbow house? Was it there when you passed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
my fifth birthday party there. Sometime. That was back when they had grilling units there.
Oh, I remember.
And then
Oh,
you have
yes.
out, and then you have that bus. that you-
Yeah.
Silliest toy. Bus.
Yes.
Those
The slide of lava on a hot
Yeah.
sunny day, you went down there and just burnt your leg, you would be sitting, oh, yeah.
It's
Your
great
leg.
thing.
Oh, oh, sitting cute. Oh, yeah.
Did you get all? My husband
Yeah,
did.
you did, yeah.
My husband did.
Yes,
Well,
so.
Anyway, so that's something I just want to give you the heads up. I will obviously
I
put it out
think
when
we
it does. start.
I have a picture of Sean on a bus or on the bus.
The other things that are going to come out of those, you know, the things you sit and the kids launching those forward and back.
Yeah, for the spring animals.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those are going up.
I'll be
And
home.
so, I don't know if it's today.
There's a seat all there?
Sit up, yeah.
It's like, I was like, why did I win?
Yeah.
What is it? You named all of
Why?
them.
It's
The slide. Yeah, Jewish fix, right?
Yeah, they first did.
the hole, fix the hole in the slide.
Yeah.
But you fixed a hole in a slide.
Yeah, the slide, yeah. It was duct tape.
It's neat. Yeah.
They don't take the top.
It's a lot of. That's not, that's the update, we're big on special event.
No, I'm sorry, Fred first.
Oh, no, please.
No. You had your hand for me.
You should.
I get 3 things in the morning.
Oh. I did have a question from somebody about the Broadmeadow situation and the slide that can't be used and why. Didn't we, wasn't this here that we talked about it, that at Broadmeadow, there's like, NEDP can't use a specific area because the depth of
The
the,
wood chips
Oh,
got-
yeah.
they-
Yeah.
Yes, the wood chips, yes.
right,
The wood
So
chips
I
got
think
put
I-
there last week.
okay, so they are there.
They're done. Broadmeadow, as far as wood chips are concerned, is fine. There
And
is
safe for
something,
NEDP too.
yes,
Okay,
there
that
is
makes
a
sense.
piece that the staff would like me to remove because kids keep falling through it. They call it caterpillar. It's- I'm gonna remove it.
Torn down.
Yes.
Because the kids just step and there's right through.
We'll go on a field trip.
I feel like we need a playground committee.
Back on the commission.
Yeah. Who's the liaison? Who's the liaison planner?
Oh, my goodness.
So that's fine. Is that your own question?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I answered it correctly, but now it doesn't matter because
So that has been fixed, and then there's ultimate fiber spread at Cricket and at Elliott, and there was some dumped at the Tot Lot, which I found amusing.
I saw that.
They must have had extra.
They had some extra,
So
so
let's just bring it over.
we did dump a whole ton, so.
Yeah.
A whole truck.
In no particular order, just because we're talking about playgrounds and facilities, at Claxton. Can we please ask the construction company to at least do a little bit better of a job of locking up the gates
Again,
It's wide open every single one that was on Central Ave or Central Street as Cass had it. Is wide open every single day I drive by it. If it's broken, then it's broken, but if it's something that can be locked up,
You mean while they're doing work or after
after,
hours?
I expect to be open while they're there, but like after, like anytime after four.
Onto the field, not
No,
into
no, no,
the
no. So if you're leaving the dump and you take a right to go towards Dover, there's a
Yeah.
swing gate that they pull their equipment in and out of. It's
Oh,
wide open on the weekends, everything. And I guess, so now if you're in the parking lot, if you're going to hypothetically Claxton 2. It is just still wide open. Like even if it was like a snow fence that's there to keep people out, there is nothing.
huh.
I
So,
will, talk to Justin and Zoe tomorrow.
okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, did we replace one of the signs at DeFazio? Like, so if you're coming down 135 from the center of town, the sign of DeFazio is on your left side. The one that is coming from the center of town looks brand spanking new. If you're coming from Dedham, it's broken, you can't even read it. So is that something that we can put on there, or is that like a sign that says like, welcome to DeFazio, and lists all the fields?
What's your question?
Did we replace the one on one side, or did it just, one looks weathered and the other one just looks perfect because of the
I
way
started that, don't go that way.
It's on,
it's the sun?
it's on where like just bleaches it out on one side and it's shaded on the other, so it doesn't get
Got it.
bleached out. I can replace that. It
That
does
would be,
need to
again,
I
does
mean,
it
I'll
need
put
to
it on
be-
the list.
Put on the list, that's all I ask. Okay,
It's short list.
springtime, I'm not expecting to be done in the
I mean,
wintertime.
most of our playground need to be assigned and replaced because it has our old contact information on it. To be like, any questions, or any concerns, call Park and Rec, and it's the wrong number, I don't know where that number goes, but it doesn't come to me.
555 being too.
7921.
You know how many
Yeah.
times I tried that number? 56308.
675-309. All right, Dina wants to pick.
Piggyback on the Fazio sign question. Do we actually still need the food truck signs, like, that are parking for food trucks only?
Michelle brought that up, like, I don't know, how many meetings ago?
Is this still on your list?
Like, do we,
I did not receive an insert, it was logged.
because do we ever have food trucks there?
So what it is that
So,
back during town meeting, it was authorized, but no user group ever takes advantage of it. Because, or the food trucks don't want to go through the hassle of going through the Board of Health and doing this, and I just don't think it's worth doing it.
so is your answer from the sign sign? Yes,
Perfect.
I'll just get on it.
Probably,
Or
it's
call
probably in our policy that says park with the sign, right, because we have a food truck policy.
No, I know.
So well done, part of your buddy.
I
Last
was
thing I
just
do,
gonna
yeah,
say that.
last thing I do have to say, and this is a good thing, the mural at the bridge going into Pollard or
It's
something else,
awesome.
it looks phenomenal.
Still not done,
But it
but
just
it
looks,
is looking good.
it looks great.
I mean, what I can see just driving on Dedham Ave looks great.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, I have.
I'm actually.
I haven't gotten that close to it, but
taking my 13.
And again, if they have any extra paint. just go to the left.
I was gonna take a team picture with my team, high school team tomorrow in front of the mural and send it to you guys.
Great.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Keep on going.
One thing I did, I did mention this to Stacey, I was asked last week or the week before about, how we were doing with spending the money that we were allocated at town meeting, and, you know, the person,
Mhm.
said, and I hope you're ready to show what was done, what the projects were, and how much was spent, and pictures of, I mean, it was.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so. So last, at the
Yeah.
end of the town meeting,
That's
what
what I
I thought,
thought.
so I was asked about that, how had we spent the money and what. had we
We've
spent
not
it
spent the
on.
money, we are looking to where to spend the money. It looks like some of the money will go towards some Elliott upgrades. or
This is not to put
repairs.
you on the spot, just to tell you that this is that.
Yep, no,
we need to
we're
be
prepared
prepared.
and I've been working with landscape, we have two different, so the big ticket or the big concerns are at Elliott and at Broad Meadow, those are two different companies. Broad Meadow is one of the few companies that's not few playgrounds that's not landscape structures, it's under Miracle. So I'm trying to track down our to do some upgrades.
But there was no there was, when that money was allocated, there was no stipulation that had to be spent in a certain amount of time, was there?
That doesn't mean that it won't come up.
Correct.
I think the
Okay.
intent was that it would be spent pretty quickly.
Oh.
So I would think we would want to spend it in this fiscal year. That was my impression.
That's
And our
my-
fiscal
that's my
year is December 31st?
July 1st to June 30th.
Oh,
But I
okay,
would think we would need to be prepared.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
answer that
yeah.
question.
yeah,
And
My plan
maybe
is to
that,
have it spent before then.
and maybe that could go into the town manager's report or something. She does a report to town.
The
I
annual
mean,
report, yeah.
just well, she does just a thing about different articles and answers questions from articles that came up the previous year. Maybe that could be in that report and then we.
Yep. That'd be great. That's what they do.
Okay.
One other quick thing on behavior, the parking lot, the gravel had been so smooth and just this past weekend it is terrible and it's like body, yeah.
Oh,
So I don't know if
okay.
it's like the schedule is the same and it's just the weather or what.
We
it's just where-
never got on a real schedule because I couldn't put that in with DPW. It was more like, can you get this? done?
Whenever you do it, yeah.
So
They,
I can call
they
them
definitely
in.
kept up with it for a long time.
Yeah.
I think it's just the weather. has
Yeah.
caught up with
Well,
it.
and they're also losing power. There's a lot of people that are, there's a lot of movement over there, so there's not as many laborers.
Got it.
Alrighty, anything else in playground facilities? Okay. Back.
No,
No,
we'll
okay,
do special events and then we'll put you on for schools.
okay.
Okay, special event approval, we have some late submittals or a late submittal. I think there's only two on here.
Two that are on
I don't think
here.
they're on here. All right, so first one up in the month of November. Girls softball clinic Wednesday, November 9th. Needham Youth Baseball and Softball, Rob Rudder put it in for class 1 and class 2. This is, I think, a half day in this, in the school system, so I know that they've done this before. And it's to help, I guess, raise money for the girls softball program at the high school.
Yeah. But is class of 1 and 2 available for them to use?
Yes,
Oh, okay,
I've already reached out to family
oh, okay,
who would technically be the first holder at that time, so it's all set.
yeah,
Okay,
I will make a motion to approve it.
do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all those that are in favor of approving the girls softball clinic, say aye. Aye. All right, passes unanimously. Wow, this one's May
May?
2023.
So first jog your memory for next year and then now this one
Yep.
for next year. Yeah.
Why did they put,
Again,
Just to lock it in.
yeah.
Oh.
lock it in
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Big event. They plan pretty far.
and that, and we're sure that's not Memorial Day weekend,
It's not long.
okay, all right,
And they've been doing this for countless years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So lock it in early. I think
Yeah,
it's great.
and we always do a walkthrough with them prior, also
Mhm.
with DPW.
okay.
And they don't start Friday. They won't set up or anything on Friday.
No, yeah, Saturday. Mhm. Not too much setup, but there's usually a DJ that comes out, but other than that, it's just the people, right, showing up.
The only thing, and this may or may not change before we get then, but if we. The fee will have to
Absolutely.
change if we need to pay custodians, if
Mhm.
we need to, if anybody from Eddie's team needs to go, like,
Mhm.
we have not been charging for that regularly, and I think we need to start to be like, okay, who is this gonna affect? Who's gonna have to
Right.
be there? What are the costs of that?
Yeah, I was
Like,
literally just.
Now, because it's Saturday, we'll be there until 8, but at
Mhm.
some point, if we have to have the bathrooms open, then.
Yeah, I definitely think when we talk about revamping fees, we should talk about all these non-fees, because it does affect someone. You have to have a janitor,
Yeah, so we
it's
don't want to
just-
take a loss, essentially.
Yes,
You know, we
and I
can-
get like they're nonprofits and it's for fundraising and I'm all for that, but like, I think small fee, just to cover some
Just to
of-
cover costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we can approve, should we like, maybe like, make a motion to approve contingent?
I think the fee would have to be revisited in spring.
Yeah. I'll do that.
They don't bring in portables.
They didn't last year because there was one there, so they didn't need the bathrooms, so that wasn't a concern. However, I know Eddie's team spent a lot of time over there and we did pay them overtime for it. So then we ate that cost.
I mean, I don't think it would be bad to alert them that you may
Yeah,
have some costs that are incurred that
absolutely.
will pass along.
I would say,
Especially
well, the
as far
costs, we just don't know what they are, like.
Yeah, yeah.
We appreciate they so far ahead in asking for this weekend, but we still might have some costs that right now we can't determine. So I guess I would ask that maybe we approve it with that caveat.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I guess we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yeah, I guess I will make that motion.
Leslie makes the
Get
motion.
our, yes, I will approve this.
Michelle is going to second it. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the Relay for Life of May of 2023, say aye. Aye. All right, passes.
You wanna do the minutes and then Fabian can give you his pool report overview?
Yes. All right, we have the minutes of October 3rd.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
I can see them wrong.
Yes,
I think, oh,
What is the,
it's mixed. It's actually
Is it?
mixed.
Really?
Yeah,
oh.
What is it for you?
this guy's pretty, yeah. Most of them- But this guy's pretty, so the first one was line dancing the first hour and then now it's ballroom.
Aw.
And this guy's pretty popular, like his classes like fill up all the time. Yeah, when he first came to us with it, we were just like, no, we don't know how to read, but we'll give it a shot. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, never failed.
Line dancing.
Yeah,
Okay.
line
Sorry, I
dancing
did
and
that. I
ballroom.
didn't know
Yes, yes.
We were too involved in our meeting, so. All right, let's go over the minutes of meeting of October 3rd. We had everybody present, so.
I would make a motion, Mr. Chair, that we approve the minutes of the meeting of October 3rd, 2022.
All right, got a motion?
One second.
I have a second.
Well drafted minutes.
Yes.
So there, make sure to get that. in minutes. All right, any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes of October 3rd of our Park and Rec meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Let's go back to the top here. Fabian, take us through.
Yes.
The end of season report that you should have handed out in front of you.
Yes, yes, yes. And sorry that this came so late this year. We had to wait on some of the numbers. As you guys can see, we went above and beyond on the data. This year, so you guys got numbers
You
for
gave me your
everything.
bullet points.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yes.
I love it.
But the big things to point out, so we had 30,539 visits this year, which is huge. It's slightly less than last year's number, but we were open slightly shorter. Last year was about 14-week season, whereas this one was about 10 weeks. And last year was about 33, so per day, we
Wow.
did better. You can kind of see the resident and non-resident breakdown up there. We're open 66 days to the public. That's including the 3 days that we were closed due to the park failing, as well as the Code Brown. That we had. But again, so every day, as you guys can see, we had about 462 visitors
Wow.
per day, which is amazing.
That is.
Stayed busy pretty much all day, every day that we were open, except those few days that we had some weather in the area. Swim
It's
lessons.
impressive, only one Code Brown.
Yes,
That's
yes, yeah. Well, we had more than one, but one that was
Wow.
bad enough to
Wow.
shut us down. from
Wow.
what- There's levels to the Code Browns.
Yeah, calm level.
Okay,
Shut
yes.
down.
Some scholarship information there for you guys too, just so you guys can see how many scholarships we gave out, which turned out to be 141. This is just as it relates to the pool. Summer programs. Less than that. I don't have the exact number on me, but definitely less than that. This was a very, very high amount this year. And then kind of the cost associated with that next to that. Swim lessons were a success too, 340 folks for that. Our swim team grew also to 118
Wow.
swimmers this year, up from about 105 the year before that. We reintroduced pot time towards the end of the season when swim lessons ended, so that was something that was very popular. You guys can also see the most popular days right there too, on the front page, where we had the highest attendance. We were over 1,000 visitors on a Sunday. So, and as you guys can see too, Sundays as well as Saturdays, but mostly Sundays are our most popular day here. We made a profit. which is fantastic. So. Yes. Yes, so total revenue, 521,990, whereas our expenses were 450,526. So we were very happy to see that because we were concerned that that wouldn't have been the case.
Year?
We had a slight profit last
Okay.
year, but this is a decent profit
Yeah.
of $70,000 this year.
Being in the very first year, there was a big profit because all the operating costs were rolled into the project.
Oh, right,
Yes.
yeah.
So the
that's
first
right.
year was very high, but not typical.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Do you?
And this is with, go ahead.
Do you think there are any expenses that we don't capture for like TPW or any of that?
So we didn't include the internal, I mean, other than payroll, we didn't include like any calls to DPW or anything like that, but we tried to get every single
Yeah,
possible
makes
expense
sense.
on here. We're not trying to like have anything on the side, like everything we could think of was put into the expenses
I'm just
there.
thinking of the places where FinCom would, you know. would-
Yes, yes. So yeah, those things weren't, but staff hours for our pretty much aquatic specialists all the way down are included in this. I didn't include myself
But
because I'm
not
doing other
full-time,
duties too.
like, not
Yes,
full-time staff.
exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes, and it was great to see too, because obviously we gave everybody a raise with the new salaries, so bumped everybody to 15 plus. And the price of chemicals going through the roof for everything, including the CO2 and all of that. So that's why we were very happy to see that we still were able to make a bit of a profit here. Turning the page, we had 73 personnel. It was a little bit higher, but some people left early in the season and some people just didn't work out, which is natural in this industry. But that's fantastic. And it was the perfect amount of staff to have. So that's kind of a target number that we can look forward to in the future to kind of try to hit every single year. 43 returnees,
That's
the
good.
most that we've had too.
That's really good.
Yes, yeah, so that's up from 30 the year
Oh, wow.
before. So I was super thrilled with that. Coming to the season, of course, we didn't necessarily know how it was gonna be coming out of the COVID year and so on, so we were very lucky. 30 new staff coming on board too, many of which filled 3 applications to come back next year, so this 43 number might go even higher potentially,
great.
which would be amazing. So of course, as you guys know, the more that return, the less active recruitment that we would have to do, so that'd be great. Total hours there for you guys too, and the compensation, and then of course you can see the net profit loss towards the bottom there. The successes and challenges, of course, you guys can read through yourselves. But overall, it was a very successful season with the visits and being able to make a profit. No major issues with staff, no major staff concerns, no major rescues had to be done this year. Yes, and no major closures either, besides a very small part breaking, but leading to those 2 days that we had to close.
Someone would. have
Yes,
it.
tiny. Yeah, yes, but
But
made
no,
such a huge impact. Yeah, so a lot of moving parts in the pool. So yes,
It's
everything
actually
went very
impressive
well.
considering the amount of numbers you had on some days.
Mhm.
You know, it's awesome.
Yeah, it could put a lot of stress on
Yes.
the machinery.
Yes.
Yes. Feedback across the board too. I know the first couple of weeks was a little bit rocky with some of the misinformation that was being passed around very quickly on social media. But once that calmed down and we addressed all of those things, the feedback was overwhelmingly good. People were just happy to be back here, have something affordable that they can do to get out of the house. Especially those folks that couldn't afford to go out to the Cape or have these clearing houses all over the place. They really appreciate us being back. And with the removal of all the restrictions that we had to. So no more time slots, no more pre-registration, unless you're a member and you wanted to, and so on and so on. Something that I forgot to mention here, but we talked about this briefly the other day, we're gonna move from a membership to a season pass.
Oh,
Just so the mentality of a member can kind of fade into the
Yes.
darkness there.
yes.
So that'll be one of the bigger changes that we make for next year, but the rest of the things are kind of small tweaks. But overall, we can kind of just do things essentially very similar to how we did it this season going forward.
It's a great report.
Yes, thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah. I agree with the shade structures.
Yes, that was something that
Yeah.
we were hearing pretty much daily.
Yeah,
So obviously it's something that we want to address
Yeah.
later.
yeah.
Right, yes. So yeah, so out of all the requests we got, I'd say that's the only like reasonable one we got. Like some of them are unreasonable, like when you move swim lessons, my child likes to sleep at that time. So we can't necessarily do those, but this one is something that we can do. And of course, we jot down all that feedback in the software, the new software that we have. So we're able to capture everything throughout the season and not try to remember after the fact. So,
This is great information.
yeah. thank
Yeah.
you.
In terms of a shade structure, do you have any thoughts on that, Stacey? We talked about. Should we put it in the capital plan? Should we? Do we have any?
Part of the pool beach renovation would be inclusive of shade structure.
There's something to design it.
Uh-huh.
I would say the scholarships, even though you've assigned a dollar figure, that's not really lost revenue.
That's right. So it
Right.
wasn't part of the expense.
Right.
Yeah, it's
because,
not lost, it's
And
just-
again,
it's-
it's some that we've had been questioned on before, but
Mhm.
if these scholarships weren't given, it's not like we didn't sell passive
Mhm.
because we gave these scholarships.
Right.
These are people that we think probably would not have come to the
Been
pool,
able to
but they
come.
didn't take a spot
That's right.
from somebody who would want passes.
Mhm. Mhm. And it's to sell too, I mean, especially with like all the recent drownings and so on, all the people that we were able to serve with swim lessons.
You know, my feeling, like every kid needed to know how to.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
you have to-
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and we'll accommodate anybody and everybody too, so.
And I'm just curious for my own reason, but like,
Mhm.
what do you, when somebody asks for a scholarship, do you have them provide anything?
Yes, so we usually have them provide a letter, whether it's from the schools or from their house of worship or from, you know, the housing authority. Just pretty much, they don't have to get into detail, but
Right.
just pretty much requesting.
Oh, okay.
So somebody writing on their behalf, we're gonna come up with a better system
Mm.
going forward. Whether
Like
it's like an
maybe
actual
there's
request
money in-
form that like, you know, can
Yeah.
be checked off by multiple
Yes.
departments or something like that.
Yes.
So that's something that definitely has to be, and that's one of the adjustments that.
Yeah, yeah,
Because not just this camps also.
yes.
So this touches
Oh,
so
right,
many different
yes.
programs that we do.
So I've had actually a lot of meetings with the schools over our summer programs and the programs that we partner with. And the conversation is to try to come up with a form that we can both use. So like
Yes.
School, somebody, they fill it at the school, it just comes to us.
Yes,
You know, part of it would be for their stuff that we wouldn't need, but it would be one form so that parents or guardians aren't constantly filling out and requesting. And it
that
be
can
the
be
same.
humbling, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
I'm working with them on coming up with that.
and maybe, I know like maybe. For the ones at school who get like the free or reduced lunch or the free, the bus, maybe
Mhm.
like. Can some sort of kind of form that shows that they get that
Mhm.
from the school, not
Yes.
like an automatic,
For sure,
yeah,
for sure. And I'm sure there'll be some field for like attachments or something like that. so we
Yeah.
can Attach that right on. and
Yeah.
Be able to see that, yeah, so.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure it out, but we're trying to make it as simple as possible, because. I mean, if they're in the schools, if we have them, they're most likely in the school.
yeah.
Mhm.
Don't forget it's scholarship, you have to either live in Needham or be in school.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just two questions of me just being curious.
Sure,
Marine rescue,
yes,
what is that?
That's where we get our rescue tubes from.
yes.
Oh, okay, got it, okay.
Mhm.
Eyes.
The other one, town staff, we had 99 members of the town staff come to the pool.
99 visits.
99 visits?
Yeah, I wish we had 99. I don't know
Oh,
if
yes,
we
yeah.
have 99 staff at this
We
time.
do, but
Yeah.
so there's visits from town staff.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So Dan Matthews was town staff?
You get the special
No,
discount.
it's definitely more than that, because
Okay.
we came every day.
Yes, but many folks actually in this building, public health, are probably the main users.
Oh,
They just go down after.
And the
shift
pool.
Yeah,
And the school. too.
That's great.
that's awesome.
Do you, I mean, I assume the school know about it, I mean, or is it just like?
It's something, and that's what we spoke about too. It's something that we need to promote more.
Kate,
internally.
actually, Kate Fitzpatrick and I have talked about it, how we get that information out to the staff,
Mhm.
saying,
Yeah.
yeah, to figure,
Yeah.
and put it all in one place. to
Yes.
Show them what we
Mhm.
can offer them as staff members.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's, right now, it's been like, somebody reaches out, hey, can I get a membership? Yep,
Mhm.
you are considered a resident because you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's great,
Mhm.
that is awesome.
yeah.
Yes, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. And Kim helped out a ton with this too,
Yeah.
as well as Mr. Derek over here. So
Awesome.
there's a team effort.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
You're very welcome. And if you guys, as you read through it, if you have any questions, obviously just reach out. There's a lot of info.
Okay, well, great job.
Yeah,
Thank you,
really
thank
good
you
job.
guys. Appreciate it.
So ice cream again next year.
Oh, my goodness, we.
I think
made-
it's so interesting. Strawberry
We made
shortcake
bank
was the
Oh,
most
on ice
popular.
cream. Yeah,
Do you not
I-
like strawberry
I-
shortcake?
I love that too. It's my favorite one.
I mean,
It's
it's real
delicious.
strawberry shortcake, sure. but-
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Good humor strawberry shortcake.
And the toasted almond.
Yes,
Good eating right there.
it's, 132 pieces of ice cream per day.
That's actually.
And this is
crazy.
including rain days, like, so slow,
Yeah.
it's just mind blowing to me.
That is
Um,
crazy.
yes, yeah, so 8,705 pieces total. Yeah.
People just don't like the chicken anymore, I guess.
Right.
So you have like a
Bomb.
big freezer, like
Yes.
one of the chests.
We have two
ones?
of them downstairs, one of the ones with the
Yeah.
top that's like,
Yeah.
It's so funny.
yeah,
It's awesome.
yes, yeah.
Oh, we don't talk more about ice cream?
There's some,
Okay.
there's some defects left in the freezer, if you guys. want.
There-
Oh, you're gonna-
Oh, I'm just so excited. I'm gonna dinner.
Oh, that's cute.
Get my dinner.
Not anymore.
All right, topics going back to the agenda, topics for future meetings.
Please.
We talked about fees will be coming up on the next few meetings.
Field Summit.
Field Summit will be coming up on the next few meetings. Anything glaring though? I know we can probably talk about this in either November or December or the December meeting. Of how we're gonna prepare for when we do, what we send to CPC. How we're gonna present and just things like that. Who are we gonna bring? Are we bringing the consultants? Are we bringing the, builders? Like, how we doing it? Yeah, so, okay. Anything else?
No.
Oh,
Wait,
Yeah.
what are
Okay.
you presenting to CDC?
we don't know yet. They have to go through the ball, approve them, but it's just nice to know, have everything ready. Okay. Issues not reasonably anticipated by the chair within 48 hours. I don't have any. Anybody? Okay. Next few meetings, we have November 14th, November 28th, and December 12th, and that would pretty much finish out the rest of the year. Any conflicts of people seeing?
I will be gone November 28th.
And I'm on November 12th,
Well, we're having ours November 14th.
December 12th.
Okay. I was gonna-
I'm going on vacation in February.
We're all taking.
Okay. But as of right now, I mean, that's down to one. I mean, we need a quorum of 3, so if things change. we will. All right,
Perfect.
anything else? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moves.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye.
Dinner is also pass out.
The meeting
Oh,
date.
yeah, for them, so the rest of